Much for joining. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We've got a lot to cover, a lot to talk about, and I'm excited. Are you guys excited? How could you not be? How could you not be excited with everything that's going on right now? No doubt. Welcome, everyone. All these people, these never Trumpers and rhinos, they're in shock over Judge Janine, I promise you. Complete shock. They have no idea what just happened. Now, today is open phones. Open MAGA Mike Friday. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. All right. Just a sound check. Okay, we're good to go. Oh yeah. The Judge Janine is the perfect person. Perfect person. Everyone loves Judge Janine. How could you not? Just doing a test on the phones. Always got to test the phones. Always test the phones before showtime. Welcome, everyone. How exciting. I mean, you know, aren't you excited about Judge Janine? How could you not be? How could you not be excited about Judge Janine? Everyone is. Everybody loves Judge Janine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Judge Janine is probably one of the most popular people on Fox. Top. She's so loyal to Trump. I would say she has got to be the most beloved person on Fox, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Do you think that's fair to say? The most beloved on Fox, Judge Janine. Yeah, I would say. Easily. Well, I don't mean liked, but like beloved. Like everybody just thinks the world of Judge Janine. What's wrong with Judge Wapner? Judge Wapner was awesome. Judge Wapner was the best. Who doesn't like Judge Wapner? Give me a break. I'm just setting some things up, guys. That's Mike from the radio station. Okay, we'll be live in about 3 minutes. That's not going to work. Not going to work. Well, I'm going to open with Judge Janine. Well, today's open phones on the program, right? So you can call in about any and everything on your mind on today's show. But I'm going to open with Judge Janine. I'm going to talk about the lifelong Republican American Pope, Pope Leo. And I'm going to talk about this latest Veritas release on Pam Bondi, which I'm a little confused about. Let me see if I can. Let me check. Okay. We will be live in 30 seconds. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And we got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to lead with Judge Janine, but there's some other things, and we'll be live in 10 seconds. No, 30. We'll be live in 30 seconds. I'm going to start with Judge Janine. I'm going to talk about our lifelong Republican, American Pope Leo. And also, I want to talk about the latest James O'Keefe video, which I'm a little confused about in regards to Pam Bondi. But it is open phones. All right, 10 seconds. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. It is Friday, May 9th, 2025, and boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to cover, okay? I'm going to start, of course, with the Judge Janine appointment for the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. But there's some other things I'm going to talk about, too, including our lifelong Republican, American Pope Leo. Also going to, I know about the tweets about JD, but he's pretty conservative on some very important key topics, which we're going to cover. And also, I got a lot to bring up, but another issue I'm going to bring up is the new James O'Keefe video about Pam Bondi, which I don't quite get. And I got a whole bunch more to talk about. But today is Open Phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. You don't have to talk about anything that I bring up or Steve brings up, although these are some pretty big issues that I'm going to be bringing up and covering this morning, and hope you find them worthy of comment. But you can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. Completely open phones on Open MAGA Mike Friday. Our number toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. So, in case you don't know, although I don't know how you could not know, President Trump has named Judge Janine as the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. This is sending shockwaves through Washington, okay? The Rhinos and the Never-Trumpers, well, Rhinos are Never-Trumpers, but the Rhinos, Never-Trumpers, low-life Democrats, the fake news media, they thought they beat Trump. Trump had his pick. They had this one traitor Republican on the committee, stopped him from getting out of committee, and they thought Trump was done. And, you know, President Trump, he's so amazing. Well, he's just so amazing. He's an outside-of-the-box thinking guy, you know, and he does things in a completely different way than they ever expect him to do. So instead of fighting for his pick that didn't make it out of the committee, which he made the Deputy Attorney General, okay, but instead of fighting for that, which was a losing proposition, or nominating another person that Tillis would stop, the fake Republican, Rhino, rat Republican against Trump, he just named Judge Janine to take the job. She is, as we speak, the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. Now, she might have to get sworn in still, but she's got the job. And let me tell you, you know, you go to the Fox News lineup, there is no one, and I mean no one, on Fox News that has been as loyal to President Trump as Judge Janine. In fact, she was even supporting him when they came out with that slanderous misrepresentation with the Access Hollywood tape. Remember that? Remember the Access Hollywood tape? Yeah. They probably found that on the illegal wiretap on Trump Tower that Obama authorized to help the Hillary campaign in the 2015 election cycle. But she is a very loyal person to Trump, more than anyone else on the entire Trump lineup. No matter the controversy, Judge Janine has been on Trump's side. This, you know, these rhinos the other day were high-fiving each other. You got to understand. They were high-fiving each other with their Democrat friends. They stopped Trump. He didn't get his pick. And, you know, I was telling you when we were talking about this on the show a couple days ago, I don't remember ever talking about a single appointment of a United States attorney. I don't think that's ever been a controversy. There's been controversies with U.S. attorneys, but I don't ever remember ever discussing a single appointment like this. And this one in D.C. is so important because the swamp draining has to happen, and the head of the snake of the swamp rat, the head of the swamp rat, whatever you want to call it, is the D.C. United States Attorney's Office, all right? And Judge Janine, she does not mess around. Judge Janine is going to bring charges, I expect soon. Now, that doesn't mean tomorrow. That doesn't mean Monday or Tuesday. But she knows who the bad guys are. She knows what they've done. She's going to be bringing charges against people. People whose names we know. We now have our team in place. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and America's sweetheart, Judge Janine. And when I say America's sweetheart, I mean that. You go through the entire Fox lineup, there has never been a person at Fox News that is as beloved as Judge Janine. Now, I don't mean there's not other people there over the history of Fox that you may have liked. You know, Bill O'Reilly, right? We all like Gutfeld. You know, there's people you like. But there has never been someone in the MAGA movement at Fox News who has been universally beloved as Judge Janine. Now, she may not like this Judge Janine, but she's kind of like America's grandma, right? She's kind of like the MAGA grandma. Don't you agree with that? She probably doesn't like that grandma reference, but everybody loves Judge Janine. Everybody. Now, Fox News did her wrong a while back, if you remember. They suspended her because she was questioning the loyalty of Ilhan Omar. Remember that? I don't remember if there was a particular issue at the time. There must have been. I don't remember what the issue was. But they suspended her. That was awful. She'll be missed on the 5, but when she brings indictments and they put handcuffs on people, like Leticia James, I'd rather her be doing that than being on the 5, going back and forth with Jessica Tarloff. Now, again, I'm not saying that there aren't people at Fox that you like or have liked that have been there in the past. But Judge Janine is beloved by people. No one in MAGA world ever has a negative word about Judge Janine. Everybody else, people have a negative word for. Hannity, whoever. Jesse with the flat tire thing. You know, Gutfeld, I don't know if anybody's got a negative thing about Gutfeld, but he's not beloved. People like him. He's funny. Judge Janine is beloved. Everybody in the MAGA world loves her. I've never heard a negative word from a MAGA person about Judge Janine. She is tough. She's like a lawyer judge version of Laura Loomer plus 45 or 50 years, right? It's like she's like Laura Loomer in 50 years. Judge Janine. Everybody loves her. That matters. She is loyal to Trump more than anyone else has ever been in the history of the Fox News channel. I mean, during the darkest times, she was with Trump, okay? Her loyalty to President Trump has never wavered. Not many people can say, I can say that, many of you can, but I'm talking about at Fox, that Fox News lineup. No matter the issue, no matter what they were doing, she was with President Trump every step of the way. She's the perfect pick. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go to the phones after the break. Now, again, it is open phones, Open MAGA Mike Friday. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You know, this term of President Trump's, this is the greatest presidential term that any of us will ever live through. He's not playing, you know. And, you know, they think they got him. They're high-fiving. They got a victory. And then he comes out with this. And I got to tell you, this is a better pick. There could be no one who's a better pick than Judge Janine. Now, I got this email during the show yesterday from Mike Lindell about the 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. The 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets that Mike Lindell offers, huge discount, which I'll tell you about in a moment, with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. These are the premier upscale MyPillow sheets. These are the sheets that my wife and I have on our marital bed. They are the best. They're 100% Giza cotton, the finest cotton in the world. And no matter what the temperature is, they keep you and your body the perfect temperature all year long. Summer, winter, fall, you're always the perfect temperature. You are Goldilocks with the 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. They are the perfect sheets. Not only that, I have 8 sets of them, regular and flannel. I got 2 flannels, 6 regular, different colors. The thing that's most amazing about them, even after being washed hundreds of times, because I've had the MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets since the first day he offered them. I talk about this a lot because those of you that make beds, Steve Kane doesn't get this because I don't think Steve has made a bed his whole life. But those of you that make beds, the fitted sheet fits perfectly on all 4 corners. Just that alone is reason enough to buy them. What I mean by that is, with every other sheet I've ever owned in my life, no matter how expensive they were, okay, you can't get all 4 corners of the fitted sheet on right. You get one corner on perfectly. The second corner, you get on maybe half. The third corner, maybe a quarter, maybe. And that fourth corner, oh man, I can't tell you how many times I have had my fingers of both hands and my thumbs using all my strength to get that fourth corner over, afraid my fingers are going to slip and I'm going to end up against the wall, flying across the room. With the MyPillow sheets, the 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets, all 4 corners go on easily with just 2 fingers and a thumb without effort. And right now, with our promo code Kane at checkout, Mike Lindell is offering the MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets, any size and any color, for just $49.98. That's right. I'm not talking about just the singles and the twins. Queens, kings, split kings, California kings, any size, any color, just $49.98, the lowest price ever, with our promo code Kane at checkout. These make great gifts, too, for people. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, Kane. All right, we're going to take our first break of this Friday and be right back. I had to adjust the air conditioning. It is hot in here. You're on hold. Hang in there. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay. We'll be back in just under 2 minutes, so hang in there. If you're new, my name's Brian. Obviously, this is where MAGA comes to talk, and we're live on 8 radio stations. And when I'm on the air, I live stream here on YouTube. So if you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. And the callers you hear, some are from YouTube, some are from our radio station, some are from other online platforms. And all the calls are totally screenless and vetted. Nobody answers the phone. You call in, I put you on hold. And when I take you on the air, you'll hear me say, "What's your name? Where are you calling from?" That's the first time anyone speaks to you. The calls are totally raw, uncensored, unscreened, unvetted. Less than a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Open MAGA Mike Friday. Open phones. If you're on hold, hang in there. Of course, we're celebrating this incredible, they say 5-dimensional chess. This is like, I don't know, 12th dimensional chess that President Trump is playing, making Judge Janine the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. This is beautiful. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up? My name's Chris. I'm calling from Philadelphia.
Chris in Philadelphia. What's on your mind?
What's the theme of your show? What should I be talking about?
Well, the way it works is you listen, you hear something, maybe you take issue with it, maybe you agree, and then you call. I don't just take random calls from people and then do what's wrong with my hat?
Third term should not be happening like that.
Are you talking about my Trump 2028 hat?
Yeah. There should be no such thing as a third term like that.
There should be no such thing. Why not?
It's against the Constitution, which is something that Trump has promised to uphold.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're aware, being from Philadelphia, you got to be an expert on the American Constitution and Declaration of Independence and American government. Being from Philadelphia, you understand that the Constitution can be amended. It's not written in stone.
Yes, but the whole point of the Constitution, as I understand it, is opposing tyranny. Okay, I love Trump, but not for a third term.
Really?
That would be tyranny.
Tyranny. If the Constitution were amended to do away with term limits, and he was reelected by the majority of the electorate to a third or even fourth term, why would that be tyranny? That sounds like democracy.
No, it's just not. It's just not.
What do you love about Trump more than why do you tell me something about why do you love Trump?
Stories in the Bible, you can.
You said, excuse me.
The Bible has so many different editions.
You said you love
to a point where it's no longer Christianity.
You said you love Trump. What about Trump do you love?
I think he's a good leader. I think
Be specifically.
Is honest.
Give a specific thing that he does that you support.
I'm in the middle of answering your question, dude. This is why you have 400 viewers.
Tell me something about Trump you love. Over 100,000 people listen to this show every day.
I just gave you like 3 things. I just gave you 3 things.
No, you didn't. Tell me a specific thing. Tell me a specific thing that Trump is doing or has done that you support.
I agree with the tariffs.
Okay. So you would rather... So this thing about the Constitution being amended, you're aware that until 1951, there were no term limits.
Okay, how's this? How's this for a way to think? Would you rather them run Kamala or Joe again?
They could. If there were no term limits, sure, they could run. Yeah, sure. Even Obama could run again. Obama and Bill Clinton could be running mates.
No. He couldn't because you can't run for a third term.
If we amended the Constitution...
Would you rather them run Kamala? Let me speak, dude. Would you rather them run Kamala or would you rather them run somebody that could be better, could be more bipartisan?
There's no such thing as a bipartisan presidential candidate.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
What does that
No,
mean?
I said more bipartisan.
What does that mean? What do you mean, one of those guys? What does that mean?
Oh, do you ever use the term rhino?
Absolutely. Rhino and rats.
Yeah, dude,
Republican
you're
against
You're
Trump.
a fucking faggot.
Oh, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Dump button for the first time for the day, Mike. Oh, boy. If you're on hold, stand by. We're waiting for the delay to rebuild. Oh, my goodness. You really think that guy loves Trump talking like that? Oh, my goodness. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. Our number 1-888-465-2631. Oh, my goodness. Class act. You know, I don't know what it is with millennials and Gen Z, but they are big on the F word, aren't they? They're big on the F word. It's almost like the most common word used by millennials and Gen Z. I don't quite get that. You know, I'll tell you this though. Okay, we had no term limits on presidents longer than we've had them, right? So why not amend the Constitution and allow Trump? I'm happy with Trump to be president for life. Wouldn't you be happy with that? President for life? What would be wrong with that? All right, the delay is re-engaged. Oh, also, by the way, the iHeart radio feed is working for our radio station, True Oldie. So if you want to listen on iHeartRadio or I'll say the name once, then because I'll turn everybody's device on, or on Alexa, it is back. It was down under maintenance for a couple days, but the iHeartRadio online feed is back up and running. Just go to iHeartRadio and search True Oldies, and we come right up. All right, the delay is re-engaged, and, well, I'll take a call before we break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dr. Ken from Jupiter. How are you, Brian?
Hey, Dr. Ken. Speak up, Doc.
Okay. Janine Pirro. I want to comment on Janine.
The best, yes.
Could not have picked a more brilliant, classy person. She falls right in line with people like Pam and Dan. And yes, she's honest. She's devoted and loyal to President Trump, but they both share in common one thing. They're both devoted and loyal to the truth.
That's right.
And, you know, she's in your face with the truth. If you don't want to know the truth, don't talk to Janine. Talk to somebody else. She's perfect for the job. And if anybody can clean up the swamp, she will be the one. Yeah,
and I'll tell you, with Judge Janine, she's right where we need her, that swamp. She will have high-profile press conferences announcing indictments against these swamp creatures. And they won't be nobodies that we've never heard of. They'll be household names for those of us that follow news and politics. This is exciting. In fact, this may be the most exciting pick Trump has made.
Brian, I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't wait.
Yeah, me either. Me either. All right, appreciate. I got to take our break for the bottom, but thanks for the call, Doc. Got a doctor calling. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. Open phones. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's program. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. You don't have to talk about any of the topics that we bring up. We'll be right back. There's 2 openings on the board right now if you'd like to call in. See, if the Constitution is amended to allow Trump a 3rd term in 2028, which I support, and if Obama and Clinton want to join forces and run against him as running mates, let them. That is not tyranny, and it's not a dictatorship. It is textbook democracy. A constitutional amendment has to be passed through both houses of Congress. Then it goes to the states, and 2/3 of the states have to agree, and then the president signs it. That's a big process. That is democracy. It's not tyranny, and it's not a dictatorship. That is textbook democracy. And the reason that these liberals are so triggered by it because they understand the mass popularity that our favorite president, our greatest president, Donald Trump has. And that freaks them out. It freaks them out. All right. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. Yeah. We want Israel to be great too. Absolutely. What's your beef with Israel? President Trump's, if his approval numbers aren't high, which they are, okay, among those who voted for him, run Obama again against Trump. See how Obama does against President Trump. President Trump's running in 2028 will be about eliminating the income taxes for 98% of Americans. Okay? Let Obama run on his liberal garbage against him. See who wins. Mm-hmm. Tom Homan said that they have deported 100,000. And keep in mind, those 100,000, they've deported the worst of the worst in that 100,000 too, right? All these Trend A and MS-13 terrorists and other criminals. So that's amazing. Obama deported like 6 million. No one said a word. Mm-hmm. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go right to the phones after the break. Less than a minute. We'll be back in just over 30 seconds. I don't own stocks. I'm not in the stock market. And you probably don't either. We're back. I'm Brian. It's Friday. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We are celebrating this incredible outside of the box thinking, this 12th dimensional chess that President Trump is playing against the Rhino swamp of D.C. by appointing Judge Janine as the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. This is exciting news. Every line on the board is lit. I've lost track of the order in which the calls came in. So I'm just going to take them. My apologies, but let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Mark. I'm from New York.
Yes, Mark.
I love Trump.
Oh, but
I support him. I hope he stays president forever.
Just get to the butt. Get to the butt.
I see the talk about gas prices going down. As a truck driver myself, I'm on the road all the time. I'm all over this country. I have not seen gas at $1.98, and I just.
Well, you're $1.98. Well, first of all, you say you're calling me from New York, so you're in a Democrat state where prices are going to be higher than anyone else, and if you drive a truck, you use diesel, right? And diesel's always more. It's lower in some states than in others. The lowest I've paid for gas is $2.56 a gallon, which is a big drop because it was well over $3 a gallon just a few months ago. So they are coming down.
He's definitely bringing it down.
Yeah.
Oh yes, but I also see, like, why are we going after these companies that are gouging us on prices for food and stuff like that? Because as diesel comes down, those prices should also come down.
They will.
It's
There's no price. There's no price gouging going on. It takes a while. The things that are in the stores or the things that have been manufactured and things that have been delivered to warehouses is most of it's with old gas prices. It hasn't made it to the market yet. You know this.
Yeah. Gas, oil goes up. It's instant at the pump. Goes down. It takes a long time to come down. I understand that.
Then what are you griping at? You're griping about things that you know are false. I don't get it.
Well,
all right, appreciate the call. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna call fake MAGA on that one. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Nick again out of Baltimore.
Hey, Nick, what's up?
Happy Friday. I am thrilled with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Judge Janine, she's in it for 120 days, right?
Yes.
After that, he can bring somebody else in. They don't require a Senate approval.
Correct.
And it's like a recess appointment. And the guy, Ed Martin, he's going to be right down the hall from her.
Yeah, he's the Deputy Attorney General now.
In that new office that was created, they're going to investigate the pardons and everything else that went on.
Correct.
So, and the thing of it is, he's going to keep rotating people.
Well, now slow down on that because I was going to get to this later. But Ed Martin is the who was Trump's first pick that the Rhinos stopped and were high-fiving. They thought they defeated Trump. He's not just the Deputy Attorney General. He's the Deputy Attorney General overseeing pardons. And like Nick said here, he's investigating the auto pen pardons. I promise you that's his mission. Investigating the auto pen pardons. And those we may see for the first time pardons invalidated after that.
And also, he's gonna reverse the injustice for the J6ers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going to happen. And just skip ahead just for a second here. As far as the Pam Bondi thing, listen, I trust Trump and the team. I think the James O'Keefe video was just clickbait, and I think Pam Bondi outsmarted them.
Well, let me tell you, I'm gonna play the audio of that later in the show, maybe. Listen, Laura Loomer's been a friend of mine for years. And Laura Loomer has the most accurate rating of a reporter in history, which is 100%.
Right.
When Laura Loomer says something, when Laura Loomer reports something, you can take it to the bank, okay? She's always right. But she has a thing for Pam Bondi, and this video drop that James O'Keefe did yesterday on Pam Bondi, I don't see what the controversy is. It's not that big of a deal. There may be some clickbait to it, but there's just something not right there.
Well, all I can tell you is I'm familiar with Pam Bondi's reputation too, as you are. You're down there in Florida.
She was our Attorney General in Florida, for 2 terms.
Right, you guys, Richie, all you guys know about Pam Bondi, and I think she's solid. And I think that, did you see Cash Patel in a hearing yesterday?
Yeah.
And how he sliced and diced that Democrat, I forget what state she's from.
Yeah.
She went behind, she looked like an idiot, and she went on MSNBC, and that's where they all go,
Yeah.
And, no, you're seeing the fire come out in these people, and I'm telling you, big things are going to start happening now.
Yeah, we've got now with Judge Janine, we now have our team in place in the swamp. Hey, I appreciate the call, Nick. Take care. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes,
Great.
Richie. What's up, Richie?
I'd like to have a real debate with you, so I hope you give me
a
the
real
opportunity
debate. Oh, yes. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean this. I mean it sincerely. And you'll understand.
Hold on, Richie. Let me answer some of these calls. My phones are ringing off the hook. Okay, what's your beef today, Richie, with Trump?
No, it's not a beef with Trump. It's sort of getting into your head, and I'll explain.
Oh, he's going to get into my head. I can't wait.
I'm going to try to. Yeah. What I'm trying to explain is this. About 12 years ago, my wife and I were in a fish restaurant in Wilton Manors. I went into the Publix in Wilton Manors while she shopped. Now, I love Publix and I love their product, but I sat there and I watched what was going on, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. The only time I've been uncomfortable in a Publix, because I seen men walking and holding hands. I seen women holding hands, and it was like a showtime there. I seen the workers that were there, and you know what I'm talking about. I saw this for the first time.
Wilton Manors is a gay city in Broward County. It's
right.
Connected to Fort Lauderdale. So okay, so you saw gay people in it's open phones today, guys. You saw gay people in Publix 12 years ago. Okay, all right, and what's the relevancy today?
All over the place, and I felt uncomfortable because it didn't fit my morality or lifestyle.
Oh.
Now I see you. This is where it's going to turn to you. I see you. You always say, MAGA for life. I'm 100% for President Trump. Everything he believes in, I believe in. Okay? You also praise Laura Loomer all the time.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get into Laura Loomer's comment. The Catholic Church just put a Marxist activist as Pope, and you've managed to be able to separate. And you can't. I listened to your podcast last night where you said, "Well, he's a Republican, voted Republican."
That's true.
So you can you're excusing the fact that he's open border. You're excusing the fact that he's total climate control, climate. Climate, his ideas. You excuse all of that. And
okay,
you say,
here's the thing, Richie. You're talking about the new pope. Now let me tell you, I'm Catholic. My wife and I became Catholics 10, 15 years ago. Okay, so I'm not a lifelong Catholic. I've been a Catholic 10 or 15 years. And this is like, I don't know, the third or fourth pope since I've been Catholic. I was in shock that we've got an American pope. I mean, that's amazing in itself. He is politically liberal on some things, like the border, and he did have those posts on X about JD. I get that. However, Pope Leo is a lifelong Republican. In every election, excuse me, Richie. Excuse me. Pope Leo is a lifelong Republican. In every election he's voted in, both local, state, and federal, he's voted Republican. He is strongly pro-life. In fact, at Villanova, he was the leader of the pro-life organization. He also, in recent times, because this has been an issue, is against all that trans and gender stuff, and he's very vocal about it. He's liberal on the border issue, as most church leaders are. I haven't heard him on climate change. That wouldn't surprise me either. But so what?
The LGBT, he's not against that. And you can start.
But you know what? Hey. Either is Donald Trump. He's got an openly gay man as Treasury Secretary.
But he's against Donald Trump. He is against his philosophy. And you
on the border, yes.
You separate.
On the border, yes.
You separate religion and politics. No,
I do.
You said it last night.
I do.
You separate your religion and your politics.
Correct.
But the Catholic Church doesn't. The Catholic Church is involved in politics. They're very influential. I've seen the people.
Listen. I got to tell you guys. Yeah, you guys. Listen. The Pope is not the head of or leader of the church. I know a lot of people. You know who the leader of the church is? That's right. Jesus is the leader of the church. That is correct.
But guess what? The Pope, and you won't deny this, has total influence on the philosophy of the modern church. Everything, the doctrine of the church that's going on right now, everything that goes on goes through the Pope. And a matter of fact, the reason he got elected was basically a finger to President Trump. And that's.
Well, I don't know about the finger to President Trump, but I'm gonna tell you this, okay? And I'm gonna be very clear about this. You will never hear me attack any of the popes, okay? I do separate.
Why did you go to the Catholic Church? You said because
I felt a calling to it. Yeah, when I went to mass. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I felt the Lord calling me to it. And by the way, when I say the Lord, I mean Jesus.
No, I just can't understand. It's a conflict.
I separate politics from my Christianity.
Okay, if the Pope were to call you offline or online right now, and you didn't know it was the Pope, and he started talking about open borders, and
Of course I'd go after him. If I didn't know it was the Pope, yes, I would go after him like any other caller. If I didn't know he was the Pope.
That's why I didn't mention. That's why I mentioned Wilton Manors, because it was against my lifetime.
Donald, but hold on a second. Hold on a second. Donald Trump is not against the gay rights or anything. He has.
No, but it made me feel uncomfortable because morally it was against.
Well, I'm sorry you felt uncomfortable. I mean, I didn't know we had a constitutional right not to feel uncomfortable. All right, Richie, take care. And listen, I separate my Christianity from politics. Now, there's crossover. I don't believe you can be a Democrat and be a Christian, because to be a Democrat, the Democrats support abortion. And no matter how liberal a pope is, they're all pro-life, okay? But this pope is a lifelong lifelong Republican, which is very unusual. A lifelong Republican. He's very vocal against the trans rights, okay, which is huge, huge, and strong pro-lifer. So, I know he's liberal on the border, and I haven't heard him talk about the climate change. It wouldn't surprise me. So that's that. But there are people out there that are always going to have problems with the Catholic Church. That's just part of being Catholic. You get used to it. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take a break and be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. Welcome. I mean, President Trump is a very strong Christian, but you don't hear him talking about the religion too much. We'll be back in just under 2 minutes. No, this is made in the USA. Every day I got to show this to people in the live stream. Made in the USA. The official Trump merchandise is made in the USA. Made in the USA. Now, sometimes you see a lot of MAGA merch that isn't official Trump. That may not be made in the USA, but so what if it's made in China? The Democrats have pushed all of our manufacturing to China. I don't know what that means. I mean, whatever device you're watching me on online, a phone, a computer, a television, where was it made? China? Korea? Right, exactly. I don't know why they think that means something. But for some reason, they think it does. We'll be back in about a minute. There's people are not perfect. Only Jesus. I agree with Trump 150%. We're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. I hear
Hello?
you. Yeah. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Evan. I'm calling from North Dakota.
North Dakota. What's up?
So, I'm not here to like argue with you or, like most people. I'm someone who's new to voting, and I'm kind of just looking for direction. I guess I'm already leaning more towards the Republican side, but
Oh, so I see you. So you're a narcissist.
okay. That's
See,
kind of
you're
a strong way to start the
Yeah, no,
conversation.
see, you're one of those. What you're doing, which is really sad and pathetic. I mean, this is textbook narcissistic behavior. You may deny this now when I call you out on it, but you already displayed it. You want me to try to convince you to vote Republican or MAGA or for Trump? Please. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you with. There's a lot of people. Are you millennial or Gen Z?
That doesn't matter.
Which one, Gen Z or
calling
millennial?
Zero bias towards either side. I'm zero bias towards either side.
I
and
know.
You're that defensive.
I'm not
It's kind of
defensive. I'm
telling.
just calling you out,
You're
man.
very defensive.
Not at
Incredibly
all.
defensive.
I'm not
asking
defensive.
For direction towards one or the other side, and you are getting this defensive.
No,
is
you're
very
you're
telling.
one of these guys. Like when they do polling, they have these undecided voters. That's a bunch of nonsense. Undecided voters, they're like you. They're narcissists who enjoy people trying to talk about them, right? To try to convince you to go a certain direction is to be talking about you. It's like that old expression, enough about me, what do you think of me? So what are you, a millennial or Gen Z?
I'm a new viewer. I don't have any idea about you, Brian.
Well, I know,
your
welcome.
name, and I've seen your channel for about 10 minutes while waiting on hold to talk to you.
Well, welcome. I welcome you to the program. You're certainly welcome. But the reason I'm asking your age, I'm trying. How old are you?
21.
So how can you be 20?
voting.
How can you be 21 years old, and not have an opinion on the
Because
politics?
I have a child and a family and 2 jobs, and I'm not worried about politics. But it's something
Well,
I'm
then
trying to be interested
you
in.
should, because Democrat.
Exactly, but why are you getting so defensive instead of trying to actually give me
Convince
useful
you.
advice?
Listen, if you continue to follow my program, you'll learn. You'll know that as a family man with a wife and children, that the Republican Party, MAGA, is the way to go. Okay, but I'm not going to individually convince. I mean, what has you on the fence?
I understand your views. All I'm asking for is your reasoning, I guess.
My reasoning for what? Be specific. To support.
For why you support Republican instead of Democrat.
Well, the reason I support. Okay, when I was younger, I used to be a Democrat, and then something happened, and I became a Republican instantly. Okay, I've told this story on the program many times, but you're new, so I'll tell you. The first time I did my income taxes and I owed money to the government, I thought there was a mistake. Okay, I redid my taxes and I owed money. It was over $3,000. That right there is when I became a Republican.
So what does that have to do with the Democratic Party?
Democrats want to take your money away from you and give it to illegals, welfare queens, losers, and bums.
Okay, I understand that. I guess from my previous, I don't know. I guess I just understood that Democrats were more open to letting illegals into the country, but I guess I just didn't know that they were giving them.
Of course, they set them up. That the illegals that come to this they're not coming anymore, and they're not getting the money anymore because Trump and Doge and the great Elon Musk stopped all that. But what the Democrats were doing were bringing these illegals into the country and setting them up, right? Giving them housing, giving them monthly checks coming in of cash, giving them free phones, giving them free housing, giving their children a free education all the way through college and even graduate school. That's what Democrats do. I find, yeah. You're in shock?
Well, I mean, I guess I knew the half of the story, but
Yeah.
not
You
that
know,
much.
and President Trump wants to eliminate taxes for every American who earns under $200,000 a year. For married couples, that'd be $400,000 a year.
I did hear something about Trump trying to make it so overtime gets paid more for blue collar workers.
No, he's going. The first tax cuts are going to be this. He's going to extend the Trump tax cuts, which he passed in his first term, which are set to expire. He's going to eliminate taxes on tips for those who earn tips, which is not just waiters, waitresses, and bartenders. It's your Uber and Lyft drivers and Door Dashers and all those people. And he's also going to eliminate taxes on Social Security and taxes on overtime. Overtime's taxed at a higher rate than the 40 hours. So he's going to eliminate taxes on overtime.
So what does that actually translate to in terms of
more money in your
what's
pockets?
the average person?
More money in your pocket that you've earned. See, what the government does, the Democrats, they steal your money from you. I mean, think about it. You have to pay the government money out of your pocket constantly.
But doesn't the Republican Party do that in its own different way?
No. The Republicans are against tax. President Trump wants to fund the entire country on these tariffs. And, you know, if he eliminates taxes on everyone earning under $200,000 a year, married couples $400,000, that's about 98, maybe even 99% of the people in this country would not be paying taxes. The country would be funded on the tariffs.
It would be zero tax completely?
You might have payroll taxes still. Payroll taxes, there's payroll and income taxes. Payroll taxes are your Social Security deductions and stuff. That's different. But income taxes,
Okay.
he's looking to eliminate them for 98% of Americans. Maybe even 99 at that number.
But don't Americans inevitably pay that tariff in the long run?
No.
By increased prices?
No,
of items?
nothing. No prices have gone up. Prices aren't going to go up because of
Well,
tariffs.
not currently, but eventually in the long run.
No, I don't think so. No, because one of the things Trump is doing is bringing these businesses back to the United States, and if they're in the United States, there's no tariff.
Well,
What do you do for? What do you do? You're 21. You have a wife and kid. What do you do for a living?
I work as a line cook 5 days a week, and my 2 off days I deliver pizzas.
Well, that's great. So you get tips. Do you share in the tips with the
do.
waitress? Well, you know,
I do not.
you don't get tips. Well, think about all those waitresses. You're a line cook. Think about the waitresses. Most tips now, because
No, I understand.
that's a huge raise for them. I thought they had to share the tips with you guys. They don't have to share the tips?
Typically, most of the time they don't. In some places they do, but I'd say around 70% of the time they don't have to share tips usually.
Oh my goodness! Wow, yeah. I would find another line cook job where they share that. Hey, listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. Welcome to the show. All right, take care.
Yeah,
all right. Okay, if you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is 888-465-2631. It is open phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. Anything and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. You know, it is rainy/hurricane season here in the Sunshine State of Florida. And, you know, it rains every day. That's Florida. That's fine. I don't mind it. But if you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, and you want to call Tom Leaporta at Leaporta Contracting and Roofing. I'm going to give you his cell phone number in just a moment. You know, Tom Leaporta at Leaporta Contracting and Roofing covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. And a lot of you are new to Florida. A roof is so important, man. You know, you got that wet spot on your ceiling, you got a leak in your roof. That means your shingles, your tile, whatever you got up there, there's a hole up there. When a hurricane comes, and even if we only get a tropical storm can have hurricane strength winds in it, wind gust. And what tropical storm winds and hurricane winds are doing, they're like a home intruder, right? A home invader. They're looking for an entryway with the wind into your home. And if you've got a leak in your roof and you got a hole up there, because that's where the leak's coming from. That's an entryway for those tropical storm and hurricane storm winds to enter into your home. And once those winds get under your roof through a hole in it, you're off to Kansas, okay? So you want to call Tom Leaporta. Don't ignore those wet spots. That means you have a leak in your roof. And Tom Leaporta, he's a good MAGA guy. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. That's right. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. Now, he handles every type of structure, residential, commercial, even municipal. He works with every type of roofing material, and is that amazing? And he can handle a job of any size, whether it's one building, one home, or a community or a complex with 200 units in it, 300 units in it. He can handle a job of any size. Give him a call or text him. This is Tom Leaporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LeaportaRoofing.com. Now, Tom's cell phone number is not on the website, LeaportaRoofing.com. You can call that number too, but get the owner directly, 954-604-4602. 1 hour down, 2 to go. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back right after our top of the hour break. Welcome. If you're on hold, hang in there. We will go back to the phones after the break. Alrighty. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're excited about Judge Janine getting this huge job, press 1 in the chat. I think it's absolutely amazing. This is the most exciting Trump pick, don't you think? It really is. Welcome, everyone. Oh, yeah. Everyone loves Judge Janine. She's the best. Everyone loves Judge Janine. Everyone. Absolutely. She doesn't have to be confirmed. It's like a recess appointment. She is a fantastic pick. Perfect pick. Yeah, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Oh, no, she's the best. One minute, we'll be back. Thirty seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Hour number 2 has begun. And in the first hour, we've been celebrating Trump's historic appointment of Judge Janine to be the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. We've got the team together now. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and now Judge Janine. The swamp is about to be drained. All right. There is one opening on our board. It is open phones on Friday, open MAGA Mike Friday. On Friday's show, the show prep is up to you guys. You can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Ben from Pompano. How you doing?
Hey, Ben.
Hey, yeah, so that last caller, man, I had to call in because what he was doing when I was listening to him, you know what it sounded like? It sounded like he was playing dumb and then doing this like Socratic method to try and expose you. So
yeah,
he's just gonna
good luck.
keep playing dumb and asking you questions. Keep asking you questions about, oh, what about this? What about that?
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I don't know anything. And then when you give him an explanation, he's like, well, won't tariffs make things more expensive in the long run? Well, I thought you didn't know anything, dude.
Yeah, he's got the talking points. Yes.
It was very transparent. It was very transparent.
A seminar narcissist.
You
know what it is. With liberal millennials and Gen Zs, they just love people trying to convince them of things. Talk me into it. What am I selling you, a used car?
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's like listen to the show. That's the show. Don't just call in and then ask the most basic first day question. Oh, well, why should I vote for Trump? Buddy, you're like, listen to the show for more than 10 minutes and then your question will be answered. Don't just call in and
what do you this move that the president made with these rhinos, they thought they had Trump, right? They stopped his pick. These rhinos were high-fiving. They were getting calls from George Bush. You did your job. You stopped the monster. And then he goes around them with Judge Janine. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful.
Yeah, I know, and it's like we've never had. It hits you in a different way because we've never had a president that not only he has the tenacity of a pit bull, but he actually is he's so strategic too because he's been dealing with wheeling and dealing shysters his whole life, so he knows how to fox these people, and so it's very enjoyable to see, and it's why it's I don't listen to any all the fake news. I this morning the places I go to for breakfast or whatever, they have all these shows on and it's such propaganda. It's just CBS going on about how there's chaos in the Trump White House. It's like 2016 all over again. But when you actually follow the guy and know what he's doing, it's a much more measured response than that liberal caller would know to believe. I don't know. And you know what? He bashed you in the beginning. He's like, oh, you only have 400 viewers. Like, why are you listening? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't have to promote ourselves, but I did mention over 100,000 people listen to this program every day, and a lot of times a lot more than that. We're on so many. There's so many different ways to listen to us.
Yeah, I know, and you're part of a larger network outside the mainstream media, so it's like it's where people get their news. I don't know. I had to call in because that guy irked me. What he did was very passive aggressive. It was very.
It doesn't work. That may work on these Gen Zers. That may work on their mommies and their daddies, but it doesn't work on me.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, to be honest, how can you be that out of a loop of things where you don't know the difference?
Well, first off, his whole backstory. I don't want to get bogged down on every syllable. His whole backstory is BS. He has 2 jobs. He got a wife, kid, 21. That whole backstory was fictitious. He's one of the cosplay callers. I just didn't want to get bogged down on that.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, Brian.
All right, take care. Good to hear from you. By the way, the iHeart radio feed is back up and running. It was there was some maintenance and upgrading of some type going on up at the radio station. So the iHeart radio and Alexa feed is back, guys. I was telling them at the radio station during the show, my DMs and text messages have been blowing up all week. People asking me about that. But the iHeart radio feed is back up and running, people. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hold on.
Hold on.
This is I had to pause the show, buddy.
All right.
I wanted to call in and touch on something you hit on last week.
Okay.
The FBI people kneeling, taking a knee.
Yes, to the BLMers, to black people in the Biden regime, yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering have you ever covered the connection between BLM and the Republic of New Africa?
No, it doesn't sound all that. Listen, BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, is a fake movement, okay? Candace Owens, even though she's gone full anti-Semitic these days, right? But Candace Owens did some really good reporting and exposed, but BLM is really just a real estate scam. But, what these groups are, they're, BLM and NAACP and all these groups, they're just Democrat activist groups that pretend to be civil rights organizations. Black Lives Matter was a fake group from the get-go.
Right. I agree with that 100%. 100%.
Yeah. But there was this trend that was going on with Democrats during the Biden regime, okay? And you saw members of Democrats in Congress do this. They would go to place, and some FBI agents did this, a bunch of them, and they've all been fired and demoted. They would put on this, like a scarf that looked like something a rabbi would wear, but it had like dashiki type patterns on it. And then they would kneel down in front of black people to be forgiven for the sins of white people. It was very bizarre. Pelosi did this with, who's that Palestinian senator from New York? Chuck Schumer. It was ridiculous. And these FBI guys did it with their FBI garb on. It was insane.
It is. Absolutely is. I saw a guy doing it in West Virginia at a courthouse.
What? He did what? He kneeled, a white guy kneeled before black people for forgiveness?
A black guy and a white girl. The white girl had a black mark around her knee. In other words, kneeling to the black guy. It was crazy.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
I know. I agree.
It's stupidity.
But,
first off, this is, listen, the Democrat Party owned the slaves. Everybody knows this, right? When the Civil War broke out, not a single Republican owned a single slave. The Republican Party was founded as the abolitionist party. The abolition of slavery was the main party platform. The Democrats are the party of Jim Crow. Every black man in America who was lynched was a Republican. And every black man who was lynched by a Democrat, okay? And they try to project their racism on to us. But that kneeling thing was pretty bad. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. It is open phones, guys. I told you it's open phones today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff.
And, Judge Janine is so intelligent and sharp, and she takes zero nonsense, no BS with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're gonna see the Democrats come out trying to oppose her, because all the good ones, they freak out.
Well, and not only that, Judge Janine has, I'm talking about the Fox lineup. Out of everyone throughout the history of Fox, there has never been someone as loyal to Trump as Judge Janine. She was with him during the Access Hollywood tape, live on the air, and she's been with him during everything. So, she's the best. She's the best.
And I think she won't take any nonsense from the district court judges that are trying to impede Trump's.
Listen, I'm expecting her soon. Now, soon doesn't mean Wednesday, okay? I mean, she's,
right.
I don't even think she's been sworn in yet. But I expect her soon to have high-profile arrest with major press conferences. One of the reasons Trump picked her is her great television abilities. And she'll go on TV and have a major press conference and spell out the crimes that they're and she will be bringing charges against people who are names we know, not nobodies we've never heard of.
And a couple days ago, I tried to call in and I couldn't get through. Your lines have been real busy, which is a good thing. But Trump's tariffs and cutting deals with Canada and England, his next jump is going to be European Union. He is systematically going around the world, and he's going to bring them to pay their fair share, and he's doing exactly what needs to be done. And I still believe India and China might be last, but they're going to be coming in, and they're going to come under the curtail of Trump's decisions on how to have even, fair trade. That's what it's all about. That's
In
what
fact,
the
with
tariffs
this
is
UK deal, it was basically a 10% deal, 10% tariff, both sides. There's some exceptions, and you get to it like it's 10% on cars, but after 100,000, it goes up to 25. But basically, it's across the board 10% is what we're seeing, and that's pretty fair.
That's right. That's all. He's always been about fair. He doesn't blame other countries for putting their country first, but they're not going to take advantage of America anymore.
That's right.
And I believe this is going to set us up for decades of wealth coming into America.
That's right.
And Trump's doing exactly what he told us he was going to do. No one's surprised other than the crying liberals.
I want you, listen, I'm going to tell you guys, because, later on I'm going to get into this James O'Keefe thing. All of you out there opposing Trump on anything he does, do you understand they shot him in Butler to try to stop him from doing the things he's doing right now? Okay?
Right.
So Trump deserves our loyalty, and I don't support these people that I have respect for, James O'Keefe and Loomer. I don't appreciate them undermining the Trump administration like this. That tape that James O'Keefe dropped on Pam Bondi, I'm going to play that audio later. I don't get it. Hey, Jeff, I got to run, but thanks for the call, man. Take care. Great call. I'm looking at the clock. It's time for our break. Oh, my goodness. We'll be right back. We'll be back in less than a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys, all right? Make sure you subscribe if you are new. We're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977. We're covering quite a bit. However, it is open phones every Friday. Monday through Thursday, you got to call in about the news and stories and issues we bring up. On Friday, it's open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mic Friday. The show prep is up to you and the listening audience. Our number is toll free no matter where you're listening, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
And happy Friday and another great week of broadcasting, man.
Yes.
Okay. When Rudy Giuliani was mayor, the great Rudy Giuliani, mayor in New York, he passed term limits. And then when he left, when Bloomberg came in, they decided when he was supposed to go to make a special provision in their legislature to allow him for one time to be able to run so nobody else could do it besides him. I'm hoping maybe our Congress can come up with something like that. This way you don't have to worry about
one-time exemption for President Trump? Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, a one-time exemption. Our Congress, if they could do it in New York, they say they could do it there, they could do it anywhere.
Yep.
Hopefully, hopefully they do something like that for us. And
Yeah.
we'll have President Trump, if he wants to run, man, rather than change the Constitution. So that guy who was complaining about your hat, there's a solution for it.
You know,
Anyway.
I got to tell you, this Trump 2028 hat I'm wearing, I want to get a Trump 2032 hat and a 2036 hat and a 2040 hat. Maybe I should just get one Trump for life every election. I mean,
Trump
yeah.
for life.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was hearing the Rachel Maddow saying, "Oh, he never wants to leave office." Yeah, we don't want him to leave.
Well,
office.
that would be
We
up
want
to
him
the
stay on.
voters.
Yeah, that's right. And the voters are certainly. If the way that things are going, if everything is as great as it's turning out to be, everybody's going to want President Trump to not leave. I mean, we need him. I mean, why would you want to get rid of somebody who's doing such a great job?
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yep. All right.
No doubt about
All right,
it.
Doug. Take care. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Bob from Boynton.
Hey, Bob.
Just got to correct it. I'm a big Trump supporter of MAGA, all that. I even use many of your sponsors. Right now, I'm doing therapy from Lighthouse Point.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been with William Youngerman.
Okay, but get to the. I appreciate all that. But get to the butt.
All right. The butt is U.S. Grant was the last slave-holding president that we.
No, that's not true. You know, that is. Hold on. Let me explain it.
Yes, it is. No, yes, it is true.
Well, then, if you're so right, then hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. Slow down for a second.
I'm holding.
Okay. U.S. Grant, by the way, he wasn't president then. When he was first joining the Army for the Civil War, because he was out of the Army for many years before the Civil War, okay? He re-upped when the Civil War started. His scumbucket father-in-law gifted him a slave, okay? Gave him a slave, which Grant freed, by the way. So the way this is presented is a little inaccurate. It's like if your he gifted it to him, and he freed the slave, by the way. So he was not a slaveholder like is being presented. And for all I know, the father-in-law was a Democrat. I don't know too much about the father, but that's how that happened. So it's a little, but I think you knew that.
That's not the way I was taught.
Yeah, well, because the liberals write the history books. Democrats write the history books. You know, there's
I went to college long before you did.
Though there were still liberals then, right? That's how do you think FDR got 4 terms? There were still Democrats. Democrats write the history. So the history is written from a liberal perspective. Whatever you learned was untrue. His father-in-law gifted him a slave. He didn't go out and buy it. And he freed him.
Well, I was told he bought his wife was gifted 2 and he bought 1.
Nah, and he freed him. So what was being taught was inaccurate information about U.S. Grant. Why would you have why?
He was the last slave-holding president.
That is no. First of all, he was not president at the time. Okay, because the Civil War may not have even quite started yet at the time. I don't remember it's been a long time since I've studied the U.S. Grant. Okay, but there was an incredible biography I read about him. I wonder, it might have been Stephen A. Ambrose. I can't remember who wrote the biography on Grant. It was a very good one I read years ago.
You do know Lincoln had the Capitol Dome finished by slaves during the Civil War to show continuation of the Union.
Well, there were still black people that needed to work during the Civil War. But you know, listen, we're talking about, but you're back. Listen, we are 1/4 of the way into the 21st century. And you're talking to me about the Republican Party of 1861. I mean, come on.
I'm glad things have changed now. Something else I wanted to bring up. I'm not a Catholic, but I do not like what Trump did with the Pope picture. And the only reason
Trump didn't do that with the Pope. What did he do? He didn't.
I understand that. But I don't like him posting it or whatever he did with it, because it gives them ammunition.
Well, first of all, okay, this Pope meme of Trump, he didn't create the meme. Somebody else did.
I understand.
The White House didn't create the meme. It was not posted. Hold on. It was not posted on his X or Truth account. It was on the official White House Twitter, official White House X. So he didn't even post it. Someone at the White House did. So somebody at the White House, yeah.
He should have got rid of it. He should denounce it.
Really? Had it occurred to you that maybe that one of a couple of things could have happened, okay? Someone may have posted it who's not Catholic and wouldn't see how anyone could get offended. Or maybe somebody was trying to mess with him, put it up there to undermine him. But, you said you're not Catholic. The only people that I've gotten calls from about this are non-Catholics. Well, but she's not. I'm not talking to her. I'm talking to you. The only people I've heard, I'm Catholic. The only people I've heard gripe about it are people that are not Catholic.
I used to be Catholic.
Well, you're not now. So you're not Catholic.
No.
All right. Appreciate the call. I have lost track of where we're at. Hold on a second here. Okay. Okay. We took our quarter after break. Okay. I wasn't sure we took the last break or not. Let me take another call. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard from Pompano.
Hey, Richard.
Okay. I am so happy. I'm so thrilled Judge Janine has got this appointment. And all the Obama and Biden appointed judges are giving Trump such a hard time. My question is, I don't even know how to word it, but does she have a contract with Fox? Can she come back and be a guest? Well,
we don't know. Nobody knows what her contract is. However, she won't be on the 5 anymore, and I'm sure they'll bring her back after. Absolutely. All right. Appreciate the call. Let me see here. Yeah, I'll take another call. I got time for another call. What the heck? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian. Good morning. Danielle calling from Michigan.
Hey, Danielle.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Catholic. I'm not offended by any of this that's gone on. Trump doesn't need to denounce anything. That's
Exactly.
absurd. But get over it. The other thing is, I'm really happy about Judge Janine.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be an awesome thing. He's just a step ahead of everybody, and it's awesome to watch him every single day.
He sure is.
I just wanted to make that comment. You have a blessed day.
All right.
Go Trump.
All right. Appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll get to more calls after the bottom of the hour break, but I want to first tell you about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. The doorbell camera offer from Sloman's is amazing. It connects directly to your cell phone. You get a notification on your phone, no matter where you are, when there is movement in front of your house, and you can look at your phone and see it. Now, it's great for home security, and no matter where you are in the world, if you got your cell phone, you can see who's at your front door. But it's also convenient when you're at home. Maybe you're in your backyard swimming. Maybe you're in the bathroom, right? You can't get to the door. Or maybe you're just sitting in your living room watching TV and you don't want to get up and look through the peephole. You don't have to. You've always got your phone with you. It's great. And you can get a doorbell camera from Sloman's for free that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. But that's not all. Sloman's, they're also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, plus a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call, 1-833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. There we go. Okay, we will be back in a little more than a minute, so stand by. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go to the phones after the break. It is open phones today. Any and everything on your mind is fair game. On Friday's show, we call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And if you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. 1 minute. We'll be back in 1 minute. Mm-hmm. Harris Crockett, that sounds perfect, Blue. I like that. Kamala Harris and Crockett, that would be great. Great team, yes. Trump would beat the both of them, no problem, in 28. We're back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold, stand by. It is open phones, Open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything is fair game on Friday's show. The show prep on Fridays is up to you and the listening audience. Our number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And just to announce again, the iHeartRadio feed is back up and running this morning. And it was undergoing some maintenance the last few days and was down, and I was hearing from a whole bunch of you about it. But the iHeartRadio feed is up and running for our radio station. So if that's where you listen, it's back. All right, let's go back to the phones on this Open MAGA Mike Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, speaking to me.
Yes.
Good morning, Brian. Brian,
here we
just
go.
wondering, do you find it curious?
Here we go.
Trump condemned Caitlin Collins, referred to her as a rude woman, and yet he still hasn't come out and condemned Charlotte Hendricks, who has now raised over $1 million for using the N-word. That's my first question.
Okay, well, let me talk about that. So this is an interesting thing. Now, Caitlin Collins is somebody that President Trump sees in person, face-to-face every day. She's the CNN White House correspondent. She's a very full of herself, lipless psychopath who is always screaming and shouting out of turn and such. But you're telling me that President Trump, anytime somebody in America does something that is not politically correct, he has to go out and condemn them? Why?
The biggest story in the world. My family on the other side of the world is talking about it.
There's a lot of stories in the news.
The other side of the world.
The reason that never Trumpers like you, okay?
Actually, I voted for him twice.
I know. Oh, really? What about the third time? He's run 3 times. You only voted for him twice?
I didn't. I voted for him this time, which I regret. I make it very clear.
Okay, so never Trumpers accurate. Okay, well, no. Thank you for telling me that I'm correct about you. You are a never Trumper. You say you voted for him twice, even though he ran 3 times, and you're sorry that you voted for him this most recent time. Here's the thing, okay? Why?
Most people in my community.
Hey, listen. Enough of the filibustering. I got a very good question for you that I want to answer.
You asked me a question, I responded.
I don't need your life story. Nobody cares. I don't even remember your name. When never Trumpers...
You're always putting someone down. You asked me a question, I gave you an answer.
Excuse me. For me to ask the question, you would have to stop talking and listen. Why do never Trumpers like you want President Trump to condemn this woman that used the N-word? Why do you think?
Because it would be the presidential thing to do.
No.
It's the biggest
No,
story in the
no,
world.
no, it's not the biggest story in the world. It's a story.
Oh, it's not.
No.
I traveled the world.
Oh, you
Brian.
traveled the world. I'm so impressed. I know you traveled the world. Well, that's good for you.
It's part of my occupation.
Oh, good for
Brian,
you,
to travel throughout
Brian.
the world.
Why do you
Yes,
say?
Brian.
I like how he says my name,
Yes,
Brian.
that's what I do.
No, the reason that
It's kind of what I do, Brian.
I'm
I
impressed.
travel.
I'm impressed.
I'm not saying it to impress you. I'm telling you what
Oh, well,
do.
the audience is impressed too.
I also
The
have
reason,
feelings
excuse
outside
me,
of
I'm
the
speaking.
country, Brian.
Excuse me, I'm speaking. You know, the reason that never Trumpers like you want Trump to condemn this N-word lady is the same reason they try to get Republicans to condemn David Duke all the time. To condemn these people is to imply that they are with you. This woman is being portrayed as MAGA, so they want him to condemn her so that they can connect the two of them together. Like, oh, a Trump supporter used the N-word and he condemned her. President Trump doesn't have to, excuse me, President Trump does not have to condemn the use of the N-word. It's a given that he's opposed to it.
Okay. Next thing, let's look at the.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second here. I really like how this guy says my name, Brian. Okay. Yeah. What's your next point, world traveler?
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's what I do, Brian. I'm a traveler.
So let's go to the next thing, Brian.
Yes.
I know it's called CBT. It's for the neurosis you deal with. Okay. Now let's talk about the AI generated photo that was put out there of him of the Pope. Now, is his name not in the tagline, Brian?
Of what?
The photo of him of being the Pope. Do you need me to say it in Portuguese? Portuguese.
I don't know what point you're trying to make.
Obviously, he is the one that put it out there.
What is the... No, he does not post to the official White House X account. It was on the official X account. Somebody at the White House who has access to it did, but it was funny. It was a joke.
Okay. You have a good day.
Well, what's the point with the meme? Oh, he hung up. The world traveler. What a egomaniac. Or maybe it's the opposite of an egomaniac. Maybe he's got tiny little things going on and he's got to compensate by telling everybody he travels the world. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm calling from the studios of Progressive Communication Network.
Oh.
How you doing this morning?
What is it? Is this Liberal Al the John? Why are you whispering?
Yeah.
Speak up, John. Liberal Al. Speak up. Why are you whispering? Because the people that are there, you don't want, you're supposed to be, you're milking the clock?
Yeah, I'm milking the clock.
Well, why are you whispering?
I'm not whispering at all.
Speak up so I can hear you. What's on your mind, Liberal Al?
Oh, what's on my mind is the fact that we're deporting people without due process. I thought Steve was into freedom of speech and due process. He used to be.
Let me ask you a question. I got a question to ask you. Have you been in the hospital the last couple of weeks? And unconscious?
No.
Have you been incarcerated in the county jail for the last few weeks and not had access to the news?
No.
Because you've got talking points that have been debunked and are about 2 weeks out of date. You're talking about the Garcia guy?
When you were on your cruise, I texted you a bunch of times when you were on your cruise. Happy birthday.
You do not have my cell phone number, and if
no, I'm talking about no. When I say text, I mean instant message on the board on your.
Whatever way, if there's a message from you, it's been blocked. I received no messages from you. I've blocked you on everything except our call-in line. Okay, the Garcia terrorist, okay, and wife beater, a federal immigration judge ordered him deported. He appealed the decision. A federal appeals judge upheld the lower court and said deport him. That's due process. All right, appreciate the call. I mean, You know what he's doing? He's got me on speakerphone. He's trying to impress somebody in the room that he can call me, and talk. It was very, very strange person. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hold on, let me turn my TV down.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Hey, Jay, what's up?
Oh, I'm going to say this first. It's the first thing I want to say. I'm going to make some money because you gave me a good idea. I'm going to make 2028 Obama hat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because if that crazy nut can run, we can sure put Obama right next to him.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's not what I call
That's
for.
a great idea.
That's not what I call for.
What'd you
I
call
know
for?
it is. I'm going to wear one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give one. Okay, I was wondering if you knew about this. Now, let me see if I can get a straight answer with you. Sometimes you've been really nasty this morning, too. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the same nasty to you giving everybody else. But do you know about public land, that it belongs to the public, belongs to everybody? Did you know that? I'm just going to give an example for like Yellowstone.
Oh, you mean the national parks?
National parks belong to everybody. Did you know about that? See, this is something I just learned.
So what are you suggesting?
No, I'm just saying, do you know about that?
All
national parks belong to the public?
They're semi-public ownership.
No, do you know they belong to the public?
They don't belong to the public like you think they belong to the public.
Oh, okay, I can't go and live on it like I want to and build a house on it.
Correct.
But if they belong, it's public land and everyone owns it. Do you know about that?
Not really. It's not. Whatever. Okay. What's your point? Move. I don't need to debate. Okay. I'll concede just to move on. What point are you trying to make?
Okay. So you know all about the fact that Yellowstone and all those places belong to the public. They're public land.
Did
you know this? Huh?
Okay. Go ahead. Where are you going?
Did you know that Trump's getting ready to sell them?
Oh, he's going to sell Yellowstone?
He's selling a lot of them, yes.
Okay.
Did you know this?
Yeah.
Did you know this?
Do you want to ask louder to act like you've caught me on something? You want to ask again louder? Do you know this? Do you know, Brian? Okay. Bill Clinton, when he was president, long time ago.
Oh, boy.
He went around and confiscated a bunch of land and made them public lands and connected them to state parks, okay? He grabbed like more land than Teddy Roosevelt did, okay? So a lot of people that are conservatives, and I subscribe to this, believe that they've grabbed too much of the land to the public parks. So I have heard, while I don't know all the details or even care to know, I do recall President Trump at some point, it might have even been during the first term, I don't remember, talk about, getting rid of some of the public lands, yes. But that doesn't mean selling Yellowstone, okay?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No,
yeah.
It doesn't mean selling Yellowstone.
But see, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, but you can't seem to understand that.
Remember what they used to say, the United Negro College Fund, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And here you are.
Now, see, that was racist.
No, it's not racist. You just are mindless.
That was racist.
Not at all. What was racist about it? That was a commercial that ran on TV.
Let me ask you a question.
A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Listen to this, though. I have a dog. When he goes outside and what he does outside, that's what I think about Janine Pira. What about that?
Oh, tell me what you know about Judge Janine.
She's a racist.
Oh, she's a racist? Can you give me an example? A saltine? Can you give me an example of her give me an example of something she's done that's racist?
Everything that she steals. Oh, the baby's breaking.
Well, give the most recent example. Give the most recent example of her racism.
Everything that comes out her mouth.
Like what? What has she said that's racist?
She's a nasty white woman.
What is something
she's a very nasty white woman.
What is something she said that's racist?
Everything she said. Listen to this. I'll put it this way. She only goes behind what Trump said. So that just proves to you how nasty she is.
So you don't have an example
She
of her
believes
saying
everything
something
Trump
racist.
says.
She's a strong supporter of President Trump, indeed. Yes.
Yes, she does.
But
She
but
believes
but give
everything
me
he says.
but okay, give me an example of something she supports that Trump supports that's racist.
She supports anything. She supports just exactly what he's putting her in
Oh my
office
goodness.
for.
All
To
right.
arrest
All right,
federal
take care. Take
agents.
care. Oh my goodness. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. However, you have to have a mind in the first place to waste it, and I'm not sure Jay has ever had one. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You know, I've lost over 35 pounds. It's absolutely amazing. I lost 25 pounds in less than a month. And remember, eating foods I would normally eat, doing no exercise, and no prescription medications like Ozempic. Okay? Yeah, I know. It's absolutely amazing. I thought to lose weight, you had to starve yourself. You had to go around and exercise and sweat like that guy in Vision Quest. Remember with Matthew Modine? Remember Vision Quest? And I thought the foods you ate would be foods that really don't taste that good, and you'd only get like a little piece of food, like about the size of a cert. Well, that's not the case. No exercise. I'm eating foods I would normally eat, and I've lost the weight, and I'm still losing. You know, I put my pants on today with this belt, and the holes that I've been making in my belt looks like I'm going to have to make another one because the belt isn't tight enough now. I've lost more weight. It's absolutely amazing, and you can too. I was losing about a pound a day. No pills, no injections, no surgery, no intense workouts. And another thing, I'm never hungry. And you guys remember, before I started with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I was always on the air saying, oh man, I'm starving, you know, and you don't hear that anymore because I'm not hungry. Give them a call. No matter how much you want to lose. Maybe it's 20 pounds, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. 561-247-6300 and online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll take our last break of the second hour and be back after this. All right. Be right back, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, all right? There's 2 openings on the board right now. Great calls today. Great calls. We'll be back in a little more than a minute. In the next hour, I might play the Veritas Pam Bondi tape because I really don't get that. Maybe you guys can help me. I'm very confused by that. We'll be back in about a minute. Did you guys see the latest James O'Keefe on Pam Bondi? I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big supporter. But I don't quite get that one. Thirty seconds. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. It is open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything is fair game on Friday's show. You can call in about anything you want. You don't have to talk about any of the topics that I'm bringing up. On Friday only. Monday through Thursday you do. But on Friday, the show prep is up to you. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Rob, previously from Knoxville, living in Danville, Illinois, my old hometown. Hey, so you had a caller about a half an hour ago. I lived in Eagan, Minnesota, and I knew people from North Dakota. Every one of them had a super, super thick accent, northern accent, kind of like Amy Klobuchar.
Yes.
But that guy had no accent. I didn't buy one bit that dude.
Listen, everything that I agree with you, but I can't, I got to pick and choose what I go at. I can't go after every moment. You're right, no accent. They, like Kristi Noem or Sarah Palin accent, that kind of accent. Yeah, yeah.
It's so, I can pick them out. They say Minnesota, North Dakota. It's just.
Well, listen, here's but before we move on to the next point, and this is an amazing thing because of the great success and growth of this program. The Democrats are sending their spokespeople our way to try to influence public opinion, but it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Anybody can see through it, just like Ben said.
Yeah.
And by the way, I haven't seen you guys. I haven't heard you in a couple of weeks because I've been moving. I'm settled in now.
Shame on you.
And great to hear all your old buddies like Richie and Jeff from Maine and Ben and all the guys. Hey, listen, I love what they're doing, and I thought about this and I've been telling everybody. $1,000 is a drop in the bucket to self-deport. Get them out of here. If they do that, give them $1,000. Give them $1,500. I don't care.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper than what they're milking off the system.
Oh,
and by the way, you liberals out there that are griping about the Department of Education, one of the biggest gripes the teachers union has had is classroom overcrowding. Well, the classrooms aren't going to be as crowded with all the illegal children out of them.
Exactly, and Fauci, enemy number one, and enemy number two in the last 5 years has been the head of the teachers union. What's her name?
Yes.
I saw it at the Publix a couple years ago, and I wanted to say something, but I bit my tongue.
Oh yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yes. Hey, listen, appreciate the call and glad you're back and had a safe move. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Dan from Hope Sound. How are you today, sir?
All right, Dan in Hope Sound. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm thinking about this possibility that people are talking about of amending the Constitution so President Trump can get back in office for a third or fourth, a 10th term as far as I'm concerned. But I'm afraid that might be a double-edged sword, because wouldn't that open up a possibility for Obama or Clinton to get back in?
Oh yeah, sure.
You know.
Yeah.
And they would tear this country up in a month's
Oh really?
time.
You think Bill Clinton and Barack Obama could beat Trump?
No, I don't think they could beat Trump. I don't know. In fact, I know they couldn't. But I just don't want that possibility to even be out there.
Oh please,
you know?
Give me a break. Even if they were running mates, they wouldn't beat him.
Oh no, I know they wouldn't. But I think even if the Constitution is not amended, we're still going to have President Trump basically for the rest of his life. And here's why: because he's very influential. He's going to make sure he's not just going to walk away in 2028. He's going to keep working for this country. And whether it's J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, he's going to be behind them, and guiding them and directing them. So we're going to have his influence and effect.
Well, President Trump's endorsement will be valuable for the rest of his life and needed. And we also have a Trump family dynasty in the MAGA movement, and the Trump family endorsement will always be valuable from now until 200 years from now. I mean, it's going to be valuable. You're going to need it. You're going to need the Trump endorsement and the Trump family endorsement to get elected as a Republican moving forward forever.
Yes, and I don't think, it's like you said, I don't think there's any chance of a Clinton or Obama, being able to beat any Trump. But I just hate to think of that possibility even being out there.
No, please, no. No. I support Trump in 28. I support him in 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52. I'm ready to go. We'll do all the math by fours. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Brian. My name's Matt, calling from Florida.
Yep.
How's it going? I just wanted to provide some information about one of your previous callers just saying all kinds of crazy things. That's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, Judge Janine, she's Lebanese. She's Lebanese, and he just said, calling her racist. He couldn't even mention one racist thing she said. And called her white. She said, she's a racist white lady. So he defined her by this wrong skin color at that.
I don't know what Judge Janine identifies herself as. Does she identify as white or not? I don't know.
Yeah, well, she's Lebanese, but it was still racist of him to call her white for no reason, and he couldn't say one single thing that was racist that she said that was racist. And
yes.
So I don't understand where they come up with this stuff, and then they can't prove it.
MSNBC. They watch MSNBC.
True, yeah, that's where they get it for sure. And one more thing about the national parks, and that's, again, I'm sure they get it from those same sources there, because there's zero evidence of Trump saying he's going to sell any national parks or any part of it at all. So,
well, no, he's talked about, listen, I haven't thought about this. I think maybe he's talked about leasing public lands for like oil and things like this. I'm sure there's some, that's probably where that comes from, but who cares? And Jay from Jersey, he had it in his mind that he's going to sell Yellowstone National Park. Give me a break.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's nothing at all that would suggest that Trump wants to sell Yellowstone National Park.
No. They're lunatics.
They hear these things and they run.
Listen, they were giving him a hard time for the color of his suit 2 weeks ago. I mean, the guy could do no right.
Exactly. They cropped the photo just to show Trump wearing a blue suit. And then if you zoom out just a few feet, there's like dozens of other people wearing blue suits.
Including the Prince of Wales and Biden.
Exactly. Yeah, they were wearing blue suits, and there's a lot of people wearing blue suits. So it's just funny how they crop things to fit their narratives.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate the call. We're coming up on the top of the hour, but very good observations. All right. Take care. If you're on hold, hang in there. We got 1 hour to go. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything is fair game on Friday's show. The show prep is up to you guys. After the top of the hour, though, I will go back to the phones, but I want to play the latest Project Veritas drop. It's about Pam Bondi. I don't get it, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. But it's still open phones, although I do want to hear your thoughts on this James O'Keefe video. 1-888 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. That's our number. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. And remember, the iHeartRadio feed is back up and running. It was undergoing some maintenance, and it's back. We'll be back after this break. We'll be back in 1 minute. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Okay, if you're on hold, hang in there. It is open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday. You're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind at 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. But there's a couple things I want to bring up here that I've not touched on yet. The first is James O'Keefe with his drops this week, okay? The day before yesterday, he had a drop that came out. It was a rehash of things we already heard about Prince Andrew. And then yesterday, he did a drop late in the day about Pam Bondi. And I'm going to play it for you in a moment. And I know Laura Loomer is going after Pam Bondi. And as I've said, I've been friends with Laura Loomer for years. She is the most accurate reporter ever. I will never, ever question Laura Loomer's reporting. She's 100% accurate with her reporting. But I'm of the opinion that anyone in the Trump administration is off limits from criticism from MAGA unless President Trump comes out and criticizes them. And, you know, what President Trump is doing is so important. Now, I'm not implying Pam Bondi has done anything wrong. I'm going to play the entire James O'Keefe drop from yesterday, and I just don't get it. It's a big nothing to me, and it seems that they're trying. It's almost like they're trying to imply a scandal where there isn't one. Also, there is no one in this country who does not respect James O'Keefe more than me. I know a lot of people respect him equally. James O'Keefe is amazing. He should have been given the Pulitzer Prize for his Acorn reporting. And by the way, that's not an exaggeration. His Acorn reporting back in 2010 was the most amazing investigative reporting in history. I'm not going to go through the whole history of it, but his reporting got Barack Obama to make a big change. And it was a big blow to Barack Obama and what Barack Obama was planning on doing in his first term, okay? And his other reporting that he has done since has been incredible. James O'Keefe is the best. But this is strange to me. So I'm going to, and you'll hear James O'Keefe in this video. I'm going to play this for you. And what am I missing? What am I missing? What is the scandal? And why is this worthy of a news drop from America's greatest journalist, living journalist, James O'Keefe? And that, I'm not being sarcastic or exaggerating. His investigative reporting is the best that I've seen in my life, what James O'Keefe has done. Okay, so this is his drop. It came out yesterday. James O'Keefe posted this on his X, and this is what he wrote, then I'll play the video. AG Pam Bondi was covertly recorded on April 28th, revealing previously undisclosed information about Epstein. And he explains what that is in the video. Okay. So what I'm trying, and I want to hear your thoughts on this James O'Keefe drop here on Pam Bondi. I don't get it. What's the scandal? You know, one thing that liberals have done, okay, in the past, they love to, they'll have like a secret, they try to get this with Trump, like the Access Hollywood, okay? You get a recording of someone who's talking privately, and they've got a recording, an audio recording, and they don't want, they don't know they're being recorded, and then they play it, and then the Democrats will be, oh, look, we've got this recording, and it's them, and they said that, and they make a big deal about this recording as if it's scandalous. People sometimes talk differently when they aren't publicly speaking. It doesn't mean that they're doing anything scandalous. Now, if there was a tape, if this tape had showed Pam Bondi speaking with someone saying that they have all these tapes of politicians and celebrities and they don't, and we're not releasing them or something, then you'd have a scandal. The idea that they've got thousands of tapes of Epstein, who's a dead man, with these things, it's not scandalous. I mean, she said it a week before the press conference, but there's no scandal there. And there's a group of people, and I think it's a small group, but it's a small group that have a lot of connections, a lot of friends, and they have a large followings. There's a small group of MAGA people, okay, who, for whatever reason, don't like Pam Bondi. And I don't see any scandal here. And again, I must say, I am a big fan of James O'Keefe. You know, he was mentored by the late, great Andrew Breitbart, and he is responsible in large part for all that Lila Rose stuff with Planned Parenthood years ago. And I mean, he is the greatest. But his drops this week have been bizarre. The first drop was a guy trying to get some woman in bed to go home and go to bed with him, saying that Prince Andrew had sex with underage girls. Yes, we know that. And now this with Pam Bondi is a big nothing. What's going on with James O'Keefe? Why are there people that are MAGA people? Okay, James O'Keefe had his movie come out. He had a movie premiere at Mar-a-Lago. So he's a MAGA guy, and he's good. I was invited to that film premiere. I didn't go. It was at Mar-a-Lago, but it was during the week, and I had to be up to be on the air the next morning. I didn't go. And all the MAGA celebrities were there for that film premiere down the red carpet, and they had a red carpet like a movie premiere for it. So, you know, why are they going after Pam Bondi? And the thing about it is, I am of the opinion that no one in Trump's orbit should be attacked like this by MAGA people unless President Trump does it, right? If somebody messes up, okay? If someone messes up and Trump comes out and says something or drops them or fires them, that's different. You know, I give you a great example. There's been, you know, a lot of impatience in MAGA world. I've been impatient about them not bringing charges, but I've been saying, be patient. We got to be patient. These are big things. They got to make sure everything's done right. And there will be indictments and arrests and trials for these lawfare people. And then look what happened yesterday. The FBI is investigating Leticia James for her mortgage fraud. And I think she's the best one to go after first because her signature on all these mortgage documents, it's an easy case to prove. There's too much evidence with her signature on it, right? So, you know, so it's happening. Leticia James is the first one that we publicly know about of the lawfare people that Kash Patel is going after. The FBI, that's Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and, of course, Attorney General Pam Bondi. But what James O'Keefe is doing here with Pam Bondi, this movement to go after Pam Bondi, and I'll say this about Laura Loomer, you know, Laura Loomer, as I every time I mention, her reporting is 100% accurate. I will not question her on any of her reporting. It's very accurate. If there's a problem with Pam Bondi, and she has it, I think she should privately go to the president with it. She's gone to him privately with other things and has gotten people not nominated. She has a role, okay, and she can get the press. I don't think this should be done publicly. This second term of Trump's is too important to get bogged down on these types of things. Now, I want to talk about this incredible special going on from Mike Lindell and MyPillow with our promo code Kane at checkout, of course. I got this email from Mike Lindell during yesterday's show, and this is an incredible deal, and it involves the 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. The Giza Cotton Dream Sheets, which are 100% Giza Cotton, the finest cotton in the world, these are the premier MyPillow sheets, and they're very I have 8 sets of them, 2 flannel, 6 regular. They're very high quality. I've had these sheets since he first started offering them years ago, and like everything Mike Lindell makes, very high quality. I can't tell which the first set was and which is the most recent, even though they are have been washed hundreds of times. The Giza Cotton, they're 100% Giza Cotton. The Giza Cotton keeps your body the perfect temperature all night long, no matter what the temperature is. Cold or hot, no matter what time of year it is, you're Goldilocks with the Giza Cotton Dream Sheets of Mike Lindell's. And I talk about how the fitted sheet fits so perfectly on the mattress. You can get all 4 corners on without effort with 2 fingers and a thumb, without any effort, even with the mattress topper on. And the deal that he's offering right now, any size and any color. So that goes for singles, twins, queens, kings, split kings, California kings, any size, any color of the Mike Lindell 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets, just $49.98. Wow, huge deal. $49.98, huge discount with our promo code Kane at checkout at mypillow.com. You can also order by phone toll-free 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go to the phones right after this. Hang in there, guys, if you're on hold. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's Florida's longest-running radio show. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. And Steve's off. Birthday. He's got family in town doing some celebrating late into the evening. It is open phones, but I hope some of you care, even though it's Open MAGA Mike Friday, to comment on the O'Keefe Bondi thing, because I'm really at a loss. Our number, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barbara in Baltimore.
Hey, Barbara.
I really do like Pam. I love Pam Bondi. I think she's done a great job. Unfortunately for Pam, she was AG in Florida. She was Florida AG 2011 through 2019, when tons of evidence against Jeffrey Epstein was actually, it became public, very public. And 6 months after she left office is when Jeffrey Epstein got the cushy deal from the new AG. who took over. So, it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other with her. And she's not as
Barbara, let me
truthful as
slow down. I want you guys
in
to
my opinion.
slow down for that for a second.
I'm sorry?
No, slow down on that for a second. I hate to talk about it in this way because it'll sound like I'm defending something I'm not.
No, I mean,
Whatever
you say is
but
fine. I'm
but
just
no,
looking at
I
the
know
facts
it's
of what
fine. I'm
happened
going to
during that
say
time.
it, but I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying. Long before any of you heard of Jeffrey Epstein, those of us who live in South Florida did. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein was in the local courts in Florida for quite a while, in Palm Beach County. It was not a state level thing. It was done at the county level. He was in court at the county level. Meaning it was not her. It was not. It meant the county prosecutors were prosecuting him and investigating him.
But it was very public.
It was, but it was not.
Period.
It was not at the state level. And he was and I remember on the local news. Hold on a second. In the local.
Everybody knew about it.
Hold on. In the
Unfortunately for
Barbara,
Pam,
hold
she
on. Let me
can't walk
finish.
away
What?
from
Let me
this
finish
fact.
my thought. He was being investigated and prosecuted in the local Palm Beach County courts by the prosecutor. She was the attorney general of the state, and in the news at the time, it was the lead story in our local news for years before any of you ever heard of the name. So to say that she wasn't involved, he was being prosecuted in Florida at the county level.
I didn't say she wasn't involved. That wasn't my statement.
Well, no. It's being alleged like she was covering up for Epstein when that's not true.
It's not an allegation, Brian. Don't take this thing personal. I understand how much I love President Trump. Remember, I was behind him when he got shot. Could have been shot myself. But, I love him too. But Pam Bondi has proven, especially in 2020, her loyalty to President Trump. I have no doubt about that. But the fact that she was AG, she was the Attorney General of the state, and what he did as far as trafficking and child porn, whether it's at the local level, whether it's at the district court level, it was a very public thing, and it was very well known, and it was from 2011
But
to
it wasn't. But it wasn't. He was being investigated and prosecuted. It was by the county of Palm Beach, and it was. You guys, let me tell you.
I hear you, Brian.
So I don't understand why.
Still got 6 months.
Why?
You don't understand
because he made a deal. Because he made a deal with the. Because they made a deal with the feds. But I don't understand why this. I don't understand why this is like a connection to Pam Bondi.
Well, here's what I don't understand, and this is I'm just being straight up with you. Understanding how this has happened is not. This isn't rocket science here, because she was AG of the state. Doesn't matter what level of court this was brought up in.
Listen.
And the fact is,
go ahead.
She got a cushy deal 6 months after she
from
got
who?
office.
From who?
So she's gonna feel some.
Not her.
It was Alexander Costa.
Not her. Now, if she had made if she had made a deal with him, that'd be different, Barbara.
It was 6. Look, you can look. I hear where you're coming from. Like I said, I love the man too.
No, there's no buts here.
If she gets to be assertive, and it's not just this. What about the New York, all the records that she did not get from the New York State? As the Attorney General of this country, there isn't one AG office in this country that she shouldn't be able to go into.
Yeah, but I mean, but how do you even listen? I don't even know. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. But how does she know what is in these different?
She has not done it.
Excuse me. What does she doesn't know what's in an individual office. I don't even know what's in the closet in my hallway.
Oh yes, she does. Everybody knows that the records in New York have been under seal. There's so much stuff in that New York age. Are you serious? Okay.
No, I don't. I don't believe. Listen, this is what Barbara. All right, Barbara. Barbara's got this thing where she won't let me talk lately. I don't know what's gotten into her. If you're on hold, hang in there. I've been telling you guys this for a long time. This magic bullet theory with the Epstein files, we're never going to see. Okay? If he had these tapes of these politicians and celebrities, when the feds got it, they either destroyed them or added them to their deep state blackmail files. Okay? I don't think that you know, I don't think these files will ever be public. I don't think the attorney generals will ever have access to them, if they even still exist. Okay, and there's this, and I heard it with Barbara. There's this implying that Pam Bondi is involved in a Jeffrey Epstein cover-up. You understand? Jeffrey Epstein was a pedo, and to allege that someone who is a confidant of the President of the United States, Donald Trump, is somehow involved in a cover-up of a pedo, that's insane. And that's, Barbara was implying that, and others, okay? I'm sorry. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, it's Pastor Trevor in Vero Beach, Florida. How
Hey,
are you doing?
what's up?
Real quick, I had three things to mention briefly. One, I did listen to your podcast last night, so I do recommend everyone to listen to the Frank Gretsch Show podcast.
Thank you.
Because you talked a lot about the Pope, and I learned a lot because there's a lot I didn't know about him. But I want to offer two things that I heard you say. One of them that is definitely true, and then one is more of a like a challenging idea. But this is, you mentioned that Jesus is the head of the church. And of course, I don't think, as we look for who this Pope is, I don't think he leads all Christians out there. And I also agree in your podcast, too, about, we're not here to judge people's salvation. I preach in a church up here in Vero Beach, and there's people who come that, not like all Protestants are going to heaven. And there's people who I have great friends with go to the Catholic Church that love Jesus, that see him as the center focus. And then there's kind of misguided concepts out there.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned something about you can have a worldview where like politics and your Christian faith can be separated. And I just feel like everyone makes decisions based off where they get their morals from, and if you're deriving that from the scriptures and the book, that's what informs all your decisions.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Pastor Trevor. By the way, I want you to give a plug for your church before we're done. But this, okay, that's not exactly what I meant. If I said that, I misspoke. This is what I don't wear my Christianity on my sleeve, and I'll tell you. I give you an example. Most other conservatives that host a show like this, if they get a call from a veteran, they say, "Oh, thank you for your service." And sometimes and I find that that's not really thanking them for their service. It's self-serving to, "Oh, I support the military. Let me make sure I do that for the audience." And a lot of people, I think I'm not comfortable wearing my Christianity on my sleeve. And you know what? President Trump is a strong Bible-believing Christian man. He doesn't either. And I think a lot of people use religion, like the "thank you for your service" thing, to kind of self-promote themselves. And I just kind of like to keep that secret. I'm very vocal that I'm a Christian. I'm very vocal that I'm Catholic. I pray every day. And I got to tell you something. My family and myself are blessed people. My prayers are answered each and every single day of my life. And I know I've got a guardian angel, but I don't like wearing the Christianity on my sleeve. I don't, that's like, I'm turned off by Joel Osteen as an example. Okay. I think he's more of a Tony Robbins motivational speaker, a charlatan.
Health and wealth and prosperity.
Yeah. And he's very wealthy. And I just don't like people that do that, and I just don't. And that's when I say that I separate it, it's because of that. And I think it's awesome that President Trump doesn't do that either. There's a lot of look at George Bush. Every other day, it was everything out of his mouth had to do with the church and Jesus. Meanwhile, he's a war criminal. So that's I just don't like to wear it on the sleeve and use it for self-promotion. That's what I mean.
And there is quite a bit of that out there.
Yes.
There's just like there's rhinos in political parties or dinos. There's hypocrites even in the church too. People take advantage of it, to promote themselves rather than the gospel. So I'm not a big fan of Paula White. I know she advises him on some things. I kind of categorize her more with the Joel Osteen type, but yeah. I just want to say, if anyone's listening to your radio show, make sure you listen to the Brian Craig Show podcast.
That's right. And the Brian Craig Show.
I watched it last.
The Brian Craig Show podcast is on all podcast platforms, and you should check it out. Okay. So plug your church, because you're a local church in Vero.
Yes, we are Morning Star Presbyterian Church. We're in Vero Beach, Florida, right off Oslo Road, west of Dixie, and our Sunday services are 10 a.m. We'd love to have anyone come by and worship with us. So
yeah.
In fact, we're on the book of 2 Peter, so that's what we're preaching.
That's awesome. Do you have a website or something people can look up?
Yeah, Morning Star Vero, and Vero is V as in victory, E-R-O.
You got that, guys? You know, and it just, I'm late for the break, but I just want to say one other thing, Pastor Trump. You know, one thing I don't like is this arguing between Protestants and Catholics and different denominations. You know, we all, if you're a Christian, we all accept and believe in Jesus. We're all Christian. And I don't like this infighting with the MAGA. I don't like this debate. Well, you're not a Christian, you know. I don't like getting involved in that either. And I really wish that this Protestant hate on Catholics would cool off. I mean, they think we're a cult or something. I mean, come on.
I think things need to be, you know, the book of Isaiah says, come and let us reason together. And there are going to be some pretty significant differences between Protestants and Catholics, but that doesn't mean that we can't have faithful and good conversations, not trying to cut each other down.
Exactly.
I think when it comes to the political part, like with James O'Keefe and other groups, I don't know, maybe it's a way they can increase viewership or something.
Well, there's a lot of pressure. I'm not saying this is true of James O'Keefe. I'm not saying, but there's a lot of pressure on people to go viral, and financial pressures come when they have these big businesses and everything else, and people do things out of debt. I'm not saying this is true of O'Keefe, but anyway, hey, listen, Pastor Trevor, I got to run. Thanks for the call. Great points. We'll be right back. I'm very late for the break. We'll be back in about a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, okay? And if you'd like to call in, then number is pinned in the chat. It's a toll-free number. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We've had great calls today since 6 a.m., and it is Open MAGA Mike, Open Phone Friday. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Melissa in Tennessee.
Hey, Melissa, what's up?
Well, I was watching Benny Johnson yesterday, and Julie Kelly was on there, and she was just really good. But I'm just so upset over some of the stuff she was saying. She was just talking about, we want results, we want people in jail and all that. And she was just saying, it was just very depressing what she was saying. Just that, when something does come down, or if something does come down, you're going to be going against a D.C. grand jury for indictments. And that's all Dems. And then all the judges up there are not going to do anything, pretty much. They're all Biden supporters,
Well, we just got yesterday that the FBI is investigating Leticia James on the mortgage fraud. That is an easy her signature is literally on hundreds of pages of documents that are fraud. She's going to get arrested.
Yeah.
She's going to get indicted. She's going to be arrested. She's going to go to prison. She's first one.
I hope so.
I mean, it's only been a couple of months. I mean, you can't. I mean, the people they're going after are people that are historically invincible, and it's going to take more than 3-4 months. They don't even have. I mean, come on.
I know that, and I'm trying to be hopeful. I just know that these people have gotten away with murder. They have gotten away with all kinds of things, and it's just really sad that Soros or whoever has put these judges in position. And they were talking about how DC is just a cesspool, that it's just a huge swamp, and it's going to be hard to get stuff done because they would put all kinds of fake stuff against Trump. But when you got she was saying that Citibank, they tried to bring indictments and get Citibank, and the judge was like,
well,
no,
first of all, nobody that you hear talking knows jack. Grand juries are secret. Okay, now the Biden regime would illegally leak things out. There very well could be on Pam Bondi's desk a stack of sealed indictments that are secret.
Yeah.
And we don't know that. So to assume that they are not doing anything is wrong. I don't know. Hey, listen, good to hear from you. Thanks for the call.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. We've had great calls today. All right, back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
From the Wellington studios.
Let me. Okay, now this is Liberal Al.
It's Open Phone Friday, and you never had a conversation earlier.
You called earlier. You've been calling the Steve Kane Show longer than I've even been a part of it, and you know the one call per day. You had nothing to say the first time. You're still whispering this time.
I wanted to talk about the tax increase that Trump is proposing. That was a new topic I wanted to bring up, but you didn't even give me a chance to say it.
Okay, you said it. Now what?
It's going to raise it to 39.6% for people making Steve Kane kind of money.
No, Steve Kane's not a billionaire, but it came out yesterday that Trump is talking to Mike Johnson about a new tax bracket for the billionaires. That's correct, because his long-term plan is to eliminate taxes for everyone earning under $200,000, okay, which definitely covers you, all right? One call per day. And, the only reason he's not banned is because Steve's wanted to ban Liberal Al for years. I'm like, he goes way back. The reason I'm so tolerant with Liberal Al, when I first started in radio, Liberal Al was the first listener to come up to me in public and, "Are you Brian Craig from the," so it was my first, my first experience of being, recognized in public was with that lowlife. So, so I always have a special heart in my place for that scummy guy, I guess. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
James from Boca.
Hey, James. What's on your mind?
I believe that they're going after Adam Schiff next. From what I heard, he only has a 600 square foot house in California, which he represents, and has a 3,000 foot house somewhere.
Well, he has a federal.
So he'll be the next one to go.
Schiff has a federal pardon, so he can't be prosecuted on federal crimes. He could be prosecuted in.
Oh, he got one.
Yeah, he got on that. I didn't. Did they? I'm pretty sure. Didn't Biden give Schiff a pardon?
I thought they said they weren't any good because of.
But what he was talking, he has. What I heard this story the other day. I could be wrong. But didn't Schiff get a pardon? He's declaring homestead.
Right.
He's declaring homestead in another state. That is a I don't know. Is that a federal crime, homestead, or is that a local state crime?
Well, it's just like you can't be in Congress. You're not supporting where you live. Like, he's supposed to be in California living, but he lives over in Maryland.
He's claiming homestead in 2 states. Yeah, that sounds like a state crime, a local crime. That might be a county prosecutor. Okay, we'll take what we can get with Schiff. All right, take care. The pardon doesn't cover local crimes, only federal crimes. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once.
Hi, Lynn from Boynton.
Yes, Lynn.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, good morning, Brian. Okay, so listen, I wanted to let you know that we went to see, what's his name, Barry Siegel group on Monday about wills. And they were very informative, very, very good people to talk to.
Awesome.
And and not only that, but we realized, like, we don't have children and, we have our stuff. We have a few people we want to give things to. But it's so important to have things in writing that you didn't even think of. The order of people, don't put an older person in place of this. I mean, we had Joe Dean was our counselor guy there. And I have to say, I left there, my husband left there, really feeling like we have to get lists down, and especially charities and things.
Yes.
So I have to say, yes, there was so many stuff that you didn't know. We're older, so we thought we had it covered, and everything. But there is a lot of stuff. We just have to thank you, because every time you guys recommend something and we do it and follow through on it and everything, it always works out so positive in our favor.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, Attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group, they're awesome. They're really awesome.
And not only that, but the building is gorgeous.
It is a nice building.
Go in there.
It's a nice building.
So thank you. So I just wanted to get through and say thank you so much for all that.
All right, well,
weekend.
I appreciate the call. Before we break for the Gold Report, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll go back to the phones after the break. It's the weekend. If you are in pain, go see Dr. Appleton. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. You don't need an appointment with Dr. Appleton, because he knows when you're in pain, you need help, and you need it now. This is the thing. You go to a doctor. This is so unheard of. No appointment. Walk-ins are welcome. For your first visit, you're a new patient. Have you ever called a doctor? You're a new patient. You got a problem, and they tell you, okay, we got an appointment in 6 weeks. Walk-ins are welcome with Dr. Appleton, even on Saturdays. Do you know Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself? Not an assistant. He performs them all himself. The laser treatment works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. There's no injections, no shots, no drugs, no downtime, no surgery. And the best part is, it works. He's rid me of pain 7 times. I've met so many listeners who've gotten their lives back. I was talking the other day on the air about this. It's hilarious. When Steve and I are out and about, and I run into, sometimes it'll be, I've run into listeners, of course, in the parking lot at Dr. Appleton's, but this happened at Wings Plus when Steve and I were there on Inauguration Day, like 6-10 times. And it was so fun. Men and women coming up to both of us and telling us, thank you for Dr. Appleton. I'm living pain-free now. But when they're walking up to us, they have their hand on a part of the body. Sometimes it's the elbow. Sometimes it's the hip. Sometimes they're leaned over. They got their hand on their knee or their neck. They walk up to us with the hand on the body part that used to hurt. And then they say, oh, my neck used to be in so much pain. Now I'm pain-free. My knee, my hip. You know, it's amazing. And it feels good to me knowing that so many people have gotten their life back because thanks to Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain treatment, they're living without pain. And I'll tell you, before Dr. Appleton, when I was in pain, the pain I had, in particular in my knee and the arthritis pain he rid me of, the pain would hurt so much, I just wanted to go to sleep. Stop living that way. Go see Dr. Appleton. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. If you have x-rays, if you have scans, bring them. He'll look at them for you. And, of course, it's a no-charge consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. If you're new, guys, make sure that you subscribe, all right? MAGA forever, that's right. Hey there, hold on. We are back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. And it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with our final gold and precious metals report of the week. William Youngerman, how are the metals ending the week?
Metals are ending on the upside right now. The markets overall have been in a trading range, pretty much just a little under $3,300 to about $3,400 for the last week or so. The market's building a nice base for the metals, and we'll see where we go from here next week. But yesterday we saw gold down $59.90, closing down towards that support area of $3,304.20 on the day after trading in a range of $3,288 all the way up to $3,370. Silver closed out the day unchanged at $32.40. Platinum was up $4 at $980, and palladium was up $10 at $959. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range of $33.28 up to $33.36. And right now, gold's up $25.80 at $3,330 the ounce. Silver's up 15 cents at $32.55. Platinum gaining $5 right now at $9.85. And palladium up $2 at $9.61. So again, market's pretty stable and trading in ranges with moves that we aren't necessarily used to because of the heights of the market we're at, we have to get used to these $50 days and $100 days now. But it still is in a very strong support area around these numbers.
Absolutely. And, you know, Mother's Day is right around the corner. You know, what do you have, William Youngerman, in stock for Mother's Day?
We have all kinds of interesting things, bracelets, jewelry, and nice things for jewelry. And of course, you can always give Mother something nice and gold, a nice gold coin.
Oh, yes.
and we can put it in a bezel, and she can wear it around her neck. So,
Absolutely.
There's lots of things to choose from. Make sure if you're looking for a Mother's Day gift, tell us that you're a Steve Kane listener, because as you know, our wholesale department, our jewelry department, is basically a wholesale only, and for Steve Kane listeners, we make that available to them. So.
Yeah, you have to specifically ask for it, and I know there'll be some guys coming in probably right before closing, William Youngerman, looking for that Mother's Day gift. And let me tell you guys, if you forget your wife on Mother's Day, good luck. Okay, so stop by William Youngerman's today. His number, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. That's WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk on Monday.
Okay, have a great weekend.
All right, take care, take care. Yes, yes, yes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, good morning, Brian. It's Greg.
Oh, hey, Greg.
Listen, I know you love to bring up Laura Loomer's name as anytime you possibly can, any context that I'm friends with Laura Loomer. Let me ask you a question about Laura Loomer. By the way, she has issues with other females, attractive females.
What, you're accusing me? You're accusing me of being a name dropper? No, I'm not. I just when I am critical of someone who's a friend of mine, I want to do these disclaimers on the air, because what happens, people take what you say and then they play it for people and stuff. And anytime that I'm being critical of her, I'm always doing that disclaimer so that my words cannot be taken out of any context. Same thing goes for James O'Keefe. I do the disclaimer with him about how much respect I have. I'm not a name dropper. I know a lot of people that are well known and famous.
Well, those two individuals, O'Keefe and Loomer, can't even touch Pam Bondi with a 10-foot pole. Pam Bondi's extraordinary. Trump made a huge mistake when he put Matt Gaetz up there as his, Attorney General, and boom, that got shot down immediately. Matt Gaetz can't even touch Pam Bondi. She's an awesome person. She has the experience.
Oh my goodness! You're not doing Pam Bondi any favors, Greg. You know, Laura Loomer. Excuse me, Laura Loomer. I'll tell you, she unofficially works for the president. I know this. James O'Keefe has the private cell number of all the people in Trump's orbit that you could imagine, and has the president's ear too. So they have a lot.
That brings up the question I have for you. Now, you are the biggest Trump supporter there is alive. And guess what? I always wonder, I saw Glenn Beck getting a private White House tour, spending time with Trump, all these other people, yet you're never included in any
You don't know what you don't know, Greg, you don't know what I've done, who I've met with, and who I've met with in private. Just because, like with my Christianity, I don't brag about it, doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
Have you been?
I am not going to justify myself to you, but just because I don't brag about it doesn't mean that I haven't met people in private. And I did happen to mention. No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
You can't.
Nope.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
Nope.
You're out there on the fringe.
No,
it's okay.
no,
It's
it doesn't.
Right.
No, it doesn't. It just means I don't need your validation.
Not my validation.
I need.
Share the experiences. Wait, let me finish. You don't let me finish.
Oh, you're getting hysterical. You're getting hysterical. No, I'm not going to let. I'm almost out of time, and I got a couple things to do. Did you hear the hysterical tone? Oh my goodness. If you're on hold, hang in there. I have very little time left, and there's something I want to play. But first, let me tell you about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Now, I've been telling you guys I've lost over 35 pounds without any exercise, without taking any prescription medications like Ozempic. Okay? I'm eating foods I like and would normally eat. I lost about 1 pound a day. Isn't that something? Without being hungry. And, at Coastal Weight Loss Secret, they stick with you through the process. They are your coach. And are in touch with you during your weight loss journey. Give them a call. Now, when you call Coastal Weight Loss Secret, which works, guys, you can see it on me, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. All right, do I have time? Let me look at the exact time. Okay, we got 5 minutes left. This is amazing. James Patterson did an interview on In Depth with Graham. Have you seen this interview? He talks about Epstein and Trump and what Trump did and what happened when Trump found out about Jeffrey Epstein. James Patterson, the author, listen. This is James Patterson talking, the author. Listen to this. Hear that? He found out about Jeffrey Epstein and he banned him that day. Okay, so there you have it, James Patterson. Now, if you want to watch that whole interview, In Depth with Graham, you can look him up online on YouTube. He's on other platforms. Watch the whole interview. And it's nice to hear from someone who's not typically connected to the media, political world, James Patterson. The instant Trump found out about Epstein, he banned him. Well, listen, guys, we've had great calls today all the way from the beginning at 6 o'clock. Everyone who's called today, thanks so much. The open phones on Friday, Open MAGA Mike Friday, can be very hit or miss. It can be the best show of the week or even the month or, depending on when the show preps up to you guys, you never know. But the calls today, and frankly, all week long, have been stellar golden calls. Many of them are calls I'll remember for years to come. That doesn't mean that they've all been great. Greg, too, and, Liberal Al and a few others. But this has been one of the most incredible weeks of calls. Now, the reason I played that and are telling you about it In Depth with Graham is, these liberals with their talking points continue to lie about President Trump. You can look that whole interview up, In Depth with Graham, and you can share it on all your socials and with all your friends anytime they go to slander President Trump about that. Because James Patterson's really an independent source when it comes to things like that. And you know what I mean? Because he doesn't have the politics connected to him like so many others do. So it's almost like, and I don't know what his politics are. I might be a lifelong Republican, but what I'm telling you is he doesn't have like the label of being partisan. He's almost viewed James Patterson as nonpartisan. Now, the more that gets circulated, he'll be labeled a MAGA guy. But that's a good source to share with your liberal friends. You'll never see that on Rachel Maddow or MSNBC, will you? All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a great week. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. It's amazing, isn't it? That's right. And I believe that this is not just the longest running radio show with the same host in Florida. I think we've got the U.S. record. That's harder to break down and prove. But I think the Steve Kane Show is the longest running radio show with the same host in the United States. But I know for a fact we are in Florida. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you bright and early Monday morning at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Craig. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. All right, guys, we're clear. Thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. I want to say something. Somebody in the chat, I think it was Divine, was it Divine, said we already know this. Not everybody knows that, what James Patterson said. We know it, right? We know it. We're MAGA, we're Trump people. But most people don't know that. You know, you can't assume that everyone knows what we know. All right? And this, we got some calls about the James O'Keefe release, but I don't think we really got to the bottom of what that thing with Pam Bondi is all about. Maybe we will. Maybe there'll be more releases and more things will come together. All right, guys, I've got to run, but you know me. I'll be back throughout the weekend with podcasts and live streaming on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell. All right? My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching.